Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to today's webinar. This is a short video walkthrough on how to apply for the second TNA call. Now, I find myself in what is hopefully a familiar environment for you. This is the homepage of MIRI on miri.org. In this homepage, we'll access the section of services and the subsection of the TNA program platform to get going. By accessing the TNA program platform, you'll find this landing page, and if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll find a menu bar to your left. This menu bar presents the different subdivisions of this page, which include information on the program, eligibility requirements, the catalog, reporting, etc. Now we're interested in the fifth option from the top down, TNA process application procedure. Please click this subsection and you'll find yourself on this page that shows an 8-step chart that is the 8 steps of the TNA process application. You'll also find these 8 steps replicated in the platform itself, but we'll get there in a minute. Now, in this page, please scroll to the very bottom where you'll find a button to apply. This will trigger the actual application process because you will now access the application platform. In this case, what you see here might be slightly different than what you're seeing in your own computer when you're testing this. This is because I have already created an account on the platform and I have already logged in. If you do not have an account yet, please stop the video here because you'll most likely see an option, a box, requesting you to provide your username, a password, or to create an account. Creating an account is just a short 1-minute long process. They request you to fill in your first name, your surname, provide an email address, and create a password. That very same email address will receive a verification link, and as soon as you click on that verification link, the account will be active. Then you can return and repeat the steps I was showing you so far, and you will see a very similar page, subdivided in your proposals, proposal guidelines. Let's focus on these 2 buttons here. We can click the red button, which we will, to begin a new proposal, or view proposal dashboard if we already have proposals. You'll see below I have a number of proposals that were drafts I was preparing for demo purposes, so we can ignore those for now. Let's click on the red button and begin a new proposal. As I said, you'll see the 8 steps mirrored here in the application process, the 8 steps from the chart. Step number 1 of this application is to select the service. This is something you'll have previously identified and previously have informed yourself about. Let's say for these demo purposes, I'm a huge fan of phylogenomics and phenotype prediction of prokaryotes. So I will have previously identified this as my service of interest and will select it for my TNA application. After a short loading period, the page will show you where you can find the host facility in which country, which in this case is Spain. Excellent. Let's select the center and get to step number 2, which is to confirm services. You'll see here your proposal has already been assigned a proposal identification. This is the number that identifies uniquely your proposal. In this field, I can either add another service or technology or continue with the proposal, which I will do now for demo purposes. Step 3, you're requested now to enter details, a form requesting information and more details about your research project. Now, I'll just plug in a dummy title, Test During Webinar, and a dummy acronym, T01, just to showcase that there is always a character count and that it is working. You'll find the same character count for the text boxes below. There are a couple of fields I would like to specifically mention, and one of them is the third one, project domain in life sciences. This is a drop-down list, and you're requested to pick the option that better fits your project and where it is located within life sciences. Let's assume, for demo purposes, my test project is within physiology, pathophysiology, and endocrinology. In the next text box, I would be requested to fill in my project description, provide a set of keywords that I can separate with semicolons, such as test, webinar, participants, and so forth. I hope your keywords are better than these three. The next text box requests me to specify the methods and the expected results. Then I'm asked to define my expected outcomes and the impact. You'll always find a brief description of how you should detail it and what you should focus on if you move your cursor over the question mark. The same applies for the text box asking why it is important for your project to access this specific research infrastructure that you selected. And finally, a text box asking you to describe the financial support of your project. Now, as I said, there are a few fields I want to specifically talk about. You're requested here to say if your project involves research on one of the following. One of the following being these 5 options: human samples, patient data, human cell lines, GMO, toxic metabolites producing microorganisms, pathogens to human or other species, or none of the above, which we will now also assume for demo purposes. Now comes a brief questionnaire. If you've ever participated in a TNA call to access an RI before, in this case, I'll say no. The expertise level with selected technologies. Let's just say I'm an expert, which I am not, by the way. And if my project can be performed at a different access provider, and if yes, I should list them here. So if yes, would create a new text box you can fill in. I would now assume the answer is no. Finally, I'm asked if the data collected during the project can be made open access. I'll plug in yes, because this is something we typically want to work with. I'm then requested to upload my CV, letter of support, access planning. Then when I'm done on this page, I can save and continue. This will take me to step 4 to add the team. Now you'll find you're requested to identify who is the principal investigator. You see my name here, Daniel Pichler. This is because I've already created an account, so it's assuming I'm also the principal investigator. Let's leave it here for now. Let's assume I am indeed the principal investigator. You can also, of course, search the user list of other registered users on the platform and select the principal investigator. There can only be one principal investigator. It then has a series of home lab colleagues. Now, it can be that you apply as a group. That is possible, but still, each member of the group has to create an account on this platform so they can select the different users. After finalizing and continuing to the next step, you're asked if you'd like to exclude any reviewers. This might be due to any conflict of interest or personal restrictions you might find. So in the very same form, I could plug in a name, let's say myself, which would not make sense, but this is a free text box where you can just type in any names that you wish to exclude from the list of reviewers. By saving and continuing, you'll get to step 6, check submission. So this is where you typically have a summary of the information that you have provided. You can see where I provided information, I do find the text, and since I skipped the text boxes, I just have the titles here and no information below. You can give your entire proposal another thorough check here and confirm that you have selected the correct principal investigator, the research team, and which reviewers you'd like to exclude. By then submitting the proposal, you'll get to the final step, and you have now successfully launched an application for the second TNA call.